I'm Andrew, and welcome back to Community Design Review, where we take a look at some of the best designs from the Magic custom design community. Our first shoutout today is Sadistic Devil. It costs red for a 2/2 creature, devil, with Spectacle red. So you can cast it for 1 mana if an opponent has lost life this turn, and whenever a player pays life, Sadistic Devil deals 2 damage to that player. Okay, so this is a hate bear in red, and it punishes paying life. Now that effect is kind of narrow. It would generally only work against certain black decks, except that there are a couple of widely played land cycles that require players to pay life to use them, so suddenly this becomes a lot better. Possibly an auto-include in things like Modern Burn. Still, it's pretty narrow, so while powerful, it wouldn't go in too many decks, which is where you want powerful cards to be. So this is a cool, well-balanced design. Our other shoutout is Punctual Punctuator. This is a silver-bordered card. It costs 3 white-blue for a 1/4 creature bureaucrat. You get priority after every punctuation mark during a spell's resolution. Okay, so notably, this only works on instants and sorceries because they're the only card types that have spell text. Oh, and I guess it works on cast triggers too? So I'm not sure how to talk about this ability. It's clearly meant to be used to break other cards in interesting ways. Nothing immediately comes to mind. I guess you could ephemerate your creature and then play an instant speed board wipe to destroy everything else before your creature comes back? But that kills the punctuator. This is exactly the kind of effect Silver Border is for. It's an interesting ability that I'm sure is very breakable. I'd have to think a lot more on how I'd personally want to use it, but it's going to inspire some pretty cool discussions. Our top-rated Silver Border card for this week is Pepsiman. This costs blue-red for a 2/2 legendary creature, human? It has haste and Pepsi walk, which means it can't be blocked if defending player has a Pepsi. When Pepsiman enters the battlefield, give target player a can of cool, refreshing Pepsi. Okay, this is a real fun design. It plays on Landwalk. It's blue-red to go with Pepsi, but its mechanics are actually blue-red. And I like that you don't have to choose your opponent to give a Pepsi. There are 2 main downsides. First, in response to you declaring attackers, the defending player can chug their Pepsi to remove your creature's Pepsi walk. Plus side would be that you give them indigestion. The second downside is I'm not ever going to target myself to gain a Pepsi because Pepsi is I'm a Coke man. I love that polar bear. Moving on to our black border designs, number 5 is Motivational Speaker. This is a 1/1 creature goblin for 1 red-white. For all other spells and abilities, replace each instance of can't with can. Okay, that's funny. Now, goblins have a long history in Magic of being bad at their jobs. Goblin diplomats incite combat, Goblin Archaeologist destroys artifacts, etc. This is actually no different because most instances of the word can't aren't things that you want to change. For example, say you pacify your opponent's creature. Now it can attack or block. Or maybe you're trying to burn the opponent out and play Skullcrack. Now they can gain life this turn. Most cards with can't actually restrict your opponent. That said, not all of them. You could probably make this work with red creatures that have attack restrictions like Bonded Horncrest. However, it won't work on creatures with Defender because reminder text isn't rules text. This is definitely an interesting build around. At number 4 is Syndicate's Office. It's a land that enters the battlefield tapped and taps for white or black. You can pay 1, tap, and pay 4 life to put a lone counter on Syndicate's Office. Okay, that's kind of a steep price. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life for each lone counter on Syndicate's Office. Okay, so this gives exponential life gain if you can spare the life to start with. That's a super cool design and a perfect flavor fit for Orzhov. Now, I made some charts to track how many times you should activate this. This is assuming you activate it every turn on your opponent's end step. 3 activations is the most efficient number for getting back to your starting life total. Of course, more activations will put you further and further out of reach. You can also increase efficiency by placing a lone counter in response to the triggered life gain ability. Now this would be the preferred way to use it, but it does tap you down earlier. And as a card that can single-handedly put you out of reach for many opponents, Rare is definitely the right place for this. I mean, imagine it in multiples. I might make it produce colorless mana and remove the enters the battlefield tapped clause just to clean it up a bit and make players choose to use it for the life gain rather than the mana fixing. But that might actually power up the life gain ability too much because then you can use it immediately. Either way, sweet design. Number 3 is Wuzai, Master of Nothing. This is a reference to One with Nothing, a famously bad card that has theoretical uses in combo decks, but nothing concrete. Wuzai takes it a step farther by giving you a 2/2 for the added cost of being unable to draw any more cards. Notably, you could still dredge, which is the kind of deck that you want this effect in anyhow. I think the 2/2 body definitely helps out, because now you have a clock while you work on making your graveyard shenanigans finish the game for you. But still, if Wuzai dies, now you've discarded your hand for nothing, so you better really want to discard your hand. Just like One with Nothing, this is a cool design that you really have to try to build around, but the bar is a bit lower on this one, so I think this is a pretty solid design. At number 2, we have another white-black card. Sid, Underworld Retriever, costs 3 white, black, black for a 3/4 legendary creature dog spirit. Okay, so use of the new dog creature type. It has Delve, which lets you pay its generic mana cost with cards exiled from your graveyard. And during each of your turns, you may cast a creature card exiled with Sid, Underworld Retriever. Wow, so this is one of the few cards where increasing the cost would make it more powerful, not less. As is, you're limited to exiling 3 creature cards with this, 1 for each head, which is incredible flavor. Oh, except if you're using it as a commander, each time it dies, its mana cost increases by 2, letting you exile even more cards the next time you play him. Mechanically, it's Reanimation, and flavorfully, it's the Underworld, both of which are perfect fits in white-black. If Sid dies, you lose access to the creatures you exiled, which is very fair, because getting to reanimate 3 creatures is quite strong. For that reason, I think limiting you to 1 creature per turn is also a good choice. This card is easily one of my favorite designs ever, custom or official. And our highest voted black border card this week is Mox Jade. It's a legendary artifact with no mana cost, meaning you can't cast it normally from hand. It has Ninjutsu 0, meaning you can play it for free by returning an unblocked creature you control to your hand, and it taps for 1 mana of any color. Okay, so this is cool. Ever since the overpowered Moxen in Alpha, WotC has made several attempts to make fixed versions, often using set mechanics. Things like Mox Opal, Mox Amber, Mox Tantalite. It's only natural that many fan designers would try to do the same thing using other mechanics. And Ninjutsu is a fantastic choice. It's a well-loved mechanic, but it's never been used on a non-creature before. It puts creatures into play tapped and attacking. Obviously, non-creatures can't attack, so the wording can adapt slightly to just put it into play tapped. So best case scenario with this card is to play a 0 or 1-drop with evasion, and maybe an ETB effect. Turn 2, attack and put this out, and then you have an extra mana turn 3. But an aggro deck probably won't need this mana ramp, so this goes into a narrow subset of decks, which once again, is exactly what you want from a powerful card. And the choice of Jade as the material is perfect for Ninjutsu, being Japan's national stone. This is a great addition to the Mox lineage. What a great lineup of cards. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe, check out the custom MTG subreddit, and tell us in the comments how you would break Punctual Punctuator or Motivational Speaker. We'll be back next Tuesday for another Top 5.